this is Hell of a Birthmark here, giving you another Minecraft tutorial today. Today I wanted to talk about cocoa beans, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, cocoa beans actually come from a jungle biome, and so they actually grow on jungle wood. And so it's actually a pod on the side of the tree, and when it's kind of an orangish kind of dark brown red kind of thing, that's when it's done the most. So if you just come up to it and you left click it, you'll pop it, and all of a sudden you've got cocoa beans that you just come up and pick up. Okay, now if you actually want to start your own cocoa bean farm, there's some items that you'll need. The first thing is you'll need cocoa beans. You'll need jungle wood from the jungle trees. You'll also need cobblestone. And as an additional option, you can add torches and you can use bone meal, and we'll actually get into that a little bit later. So in order to build this, you actually do not need a water source. You just need a flat place of land. And I tend to actually build roughly about 4 high. Now I like this this design when I do not have, a water bucket or any redstone switches in order to use. So we'll make it about four blocks tall, and then we'll go ahead and put a layer of cobblestone on top, and I'll explain why I do that later on. And so basically we're putting a 1 block overhang on all 4 sides. Okay, and there we go. Go ahead and jump down, and you can put your torches up here if you want to put torches. And get the back side. And one more. There you go. So you got a ring of torches all around it. Okay, so what you do is, since you got your jungle wood blocks on here, you just grab your cocoa beans and you right click onto the wall, and that puts the pods on here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and use bone meal. Bone meal can actually be used to increase each stage of the cocoa beans growth, and there's actually 3 stages. This is the first stage. If you add 1 bone meal, you'll make the second stage, and if you add 2, that makes the third stage. So that's the first, second, and third. Now if you harvest the cocoa beans when it's in the first and second stage, it gives you 1 back. Now if you harvest it on the final stage, it'll give you 2 or 3 back. So it's actually best to let it grow to the third stage, and we'll go ahead and plant that back on. And the neat thing is you can go ahead and with this design you can actually put pods on all 4 sides of it. And voila. Okay, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and mature these top pods and explain to you why I have the overhang. Now, whenever you harvest the top row of the cocoa beans and pop them, sometimes when you pop the pod, it'll actually jump up, and sometimes you'll get some cocoa beans that go on top of the wood. So by putting the cobblestone there, it's actually preventing the seed from jumping on top. So that's why I do that. Okay. The next thing is you can actually use a block of wool, put it in your crafting table, and put one cocoa bean in there, and you get brown wool. Another way to get brown wool is if you have a sheep and you go up to it and you right click it with a cocoa bean, you now have a brown sheep. Now if you get shears, and we'll go ahead and put some of this away. If you get shears and go up to the sheep and right click it, you'll actually cut off the brown wool, and the sheep actually gave us 3 brown wool. Now the neat thing is once you dye a sheep, the sheep will actually regrow its wool and it'll still be brown. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video here for just a second, and as soon as the sheep eats the grass and his fur grows back, we'll show you the result. And there you have it. The sheep ate the grass on the ground, and poof, his wool grew back and it's still brown. So there you go. Got a renewable resource of brown wool. Okay, the next thing that you can actually do, and we'll grab this. The next thing you can do is with your tame wolves. As you see, they have a red collar on them. Now if you grab a cocoa bean and you right click on the collar, boom, it just now turned brown. So one has a cocoa bean brown collar and the other one has a red one. Okay, the next one, and this is a favorite, is you can actually make what's called a firework star. Now if you grab a gunpowder and a cocoa bean, it turns into a firework star. Now if you grab that firework star and combine it with paper and gunpowder, let's see what happens. So we got the firework star on top, the paper, and the gunpowder at the bottom. You get a firework rocket. Now if you select that firework rocket, it makes a brown explosion. So that's what happens when you make a cocoa bean rocket. Okay, the other thing is you can actually use cocoa bean with your leather. And so we'll grab this cap, put a cocoa bean with it, and it actually turns your leather cap into a brown leather cap. And if you look at the other items in here, it'll do the same thing with a tunic. So if you have a tunic, a cocoa bean, it'll actually dye it brown. Same with leather pants with a cocoa bean, turns them brown. Got your leather boots, cocoa bean, turns those brown as well. Now the next one is, and this is a favorite as well, if you grab 2 wheat and put them in the crafting table, 1 on each side, and then 1 cocoa bean in the middle, it actually makes 8 cookies. Now 8 cookies, actually each cookie gives you 1 hunger bar back each. So with 8 cookies you have a total of 8 hunger bars that you can get back. Now the neat thing is with wheat, if you use 3 wheat, it only makes 1 loaf of bread, and that gives you 2.5 back. So in all honesty, it's actually better to make cookies over making a loaf of bread. The only problem is because each cookie takes or gives back 1 hunger bar at a time, it actually takes a while in order to eat all 8 cookies, and it is a little bit faster to eat one thing of bread. But like I said, you can go from 8 hunger bars back, or you can deal with 1 loaf that only gives you 2.5. So in the long run, they're actually saying that the cookies are better. Okay? And the next one, and the final one, is actually making brown stained clay. And in order to do that, you actually need 32 pieces of clay. And if you grab all 4 of them and you put them in the crafting table, just like so, it makes a block of clay. Now, if you actually make 8 blocks, so you're actually doing the group of 4 8 different times, and you put it into the furnace, which we're about to show you. Put it in the furnace here, and you'll end up with 8 hardened clay. There we go. Okay, if we go on the crafting table with those 8 hardened blocks, and we put it in a circular pattern, and then put a thing of cocoa beans in the middle, it'll actually give us 8 brown stained clay. And we'll go ahead and place it on the ground here, and there you go. And it's a neat looking block. The information on it is that it's a blast resistant decorative stone block which is used as a building material. So compared to wool, which we got the wool down here, so we'll grab that real quick. Brown wool, there we go. So if you put the brown wool next to it, you'll see the difference. So the brown stained clay kind of has a faint pattern on it, and kind of has like a smooth looking pattern, and the wool actually has a more standout pattern to it. So, but both are really neat. I actually use wool quite a bit for building when I want to do different colors and so forth. But this is actually a better alternative, is to use the brown stained clay. And brown is just one of the colors, so you can actually use the hardened clay. You can actually use the hardened clay in order to make all kinds of different colors by using different dyes. So like I said, brown is just one of the varieties that you can use. But as far as that's concerned, everything I believe I've covered. So if I've left anything out, definitely let me know. I would be glad to update the video for you guys. Now, at the same time, if you like this video, definitely click on the like button at the beginning page. At the same time, if you would like to see future episodes that I'm doing, definitely click on the subscribe button. Now, the subscribe button and the like button definitely help us both out. So if you would, please go ahead and click on both. And you folks have a great day.